Well, we got the third episode of X-Men 97, and boy, has there been a lot of drama. Let's dive into our spoiler-free review of the current episode, what's going on, and the heightened dramatic tension that last week's cliffhanger definitely brought. Now, before we do that though, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button and ring the bell for all the updates. We do daily Marvel and DC videos, and we want to be your place for all the superhero news, but we're going to bring it to you truthfully and transparently so you are in the know. Well, the first two episodes of X-Men 97 definitely didn't disappoint, and they left us on a huge cliffhanger. This week's episode, Fire Made Flesh, dove into some of the major plot points that we've been hearing via some of those merch leaks, and we really got our first glimpse into who's probably the big villain of the upcoming season. Now, quite honestly, the show has been a bit melodramatic, but it definitely gets ramped up in Fire Made Flesh. This episode totally pushes the boundaries of what the show has been in the past and pretty much creates a full-on horror episodes. This show was always thought of as a kid's cartoon, and the new series definitely puts that to bed. Now, we're not going to give any spoilers for this week. That's not how we do our reviews, but I have to say this episode was a ton of fun. Fire Made Flesh opens with a whole new updated version of the opening credits, with several new clips added. It seems like we are going to see an update to these opening credits every week that probably fall in line with a particular episode. This totally reminds me of Earth's Mightiest Heroes, how they made it pretty clear which Avengers were going to be in that episode, and it seems like they're doing the same thing with the X-Men. Now, episode 3 picks up right where episode 2 left off, with Jean Grey arriving at the mansion and Cyclops immediately being swept up in a total wave of confusion and concern. Many of us who've been paying attention to X-Men 97 already kind of know what's happening and the direction of the storyline. But regardless, the way it manifests itself, even for those familiar with the comics, is absolutely perfect. Beau DeMayo definitely imbues the episode with a sense of real tension, and this does lead to another big X-Men 97 twist at the end. Now, fans won't have a hard time kind of guessing what's going on, but the eventual revelation and fallout from the consequences of Jean, Scott, and their newborn son Nathan, well, that definitely starts to manifest in this episode and seems like it's going to be something very important to the future of the season. More story details will dive into spoilers, and we want to avoid those, but let's just say the impact of the Goblin Queen and Mr. Sinister are definitely being felt in this episode and are going to be super important moving forward. Now, as far as the mechanics of the episode, once again, they absolutely deliver near perfection. The visuals in this series have been unassailable, and I have to say, any of the worry about Marvel doing animation is now completely out the window for me. Once again, the animation has been smooth and clear, the action sequences absolutely are easy to follow and done in a way that are exciting, and Marvel clearly put in 110% in making this work. Now, something else that works is the voice cast. And one of the highlights is how Beau DeMayo somehow found a way to balance dialogue between some of the expositional dialogue we got in the 90s, some melodrama, and a little bit of a contemporary take, giving the audience a lot of room for interpretation. You also have to do hats off to the cast. They are absolutely delivering on their lines. The episode absolutely belongs to Ray Chase and Jennifer Hale. It's hard to believe these two have only been part of the show for 3 episodes, although Hale has voiced Jean Grey in the past. They definitely deliver and capture the spirit of the original actors, Norman Spencer, who's no longer with us, and Catherine Disher. But I have to give credit to Hale, who definitely gives the show a much different version of Jean, definitely reminding me of the Phoenix Saga. Now, once again, this episode's visuals are absolutely top-notch. Out of the first 3 episodes, Fire Made Flesh is definitely the most dynamic and exciting. We actually got some straight-up action in episode 1, with more political twists in episode 2, but this episode takes place mostly in the mansion before moving to an undisclosed location that definitely will give away some spoilers. But even with only 2 major locations, the animation team is able to bring this together in ways that totally shows Marvel has indeed been giving this 110%. Any worries about Marvel handling animation should be put to rest at this point, because this episode does deliver on that front. Actually, one of the major fight sequences has been my favorite for the entire season, and when you see it, you'll know which one I'm talking about, because it was fast-paced, super bloody, and absolutely perfectly rendered on screen. Now, by the end of the episode, your heart is gonna break. It's definitely the kind of stuff that keeps you on the edge of your seat, but it's much different than the way fight scenes do. Marvel definitely isn't straying away from absolutely destroying these characters emotionally and building them back up again. And the final shot of the episode is not only breathtaking, but absolutely not something you would expect from a cartoon series that first came along in the 90s and was originally meant for kids. Now for me, so far, Fire Made Flesh is the best episode of the season. We're going to give it an 8.5. It was totally heart-wrenching, all while being fast-paced with some serious dynamic action. The series so far has been a worthy successor to the 1990 series, and the only thing I have bad to say at this point is I'm kind of bummed it's only 10 episodes, because I definitely want more and more and more. Let me know in the comments below what you think of Fire Made Flesh. I'm absolutely loving the series, but I am really curious what you guys think of the current X-Men series on Disney+.